Good evening, EDL 602 students. I would like to just speak with you guys briefly as we come to a close of this trimester for the summer. We are in week 7 of your module, which is July 7th through the 13th. And I want to remind you of a few things. One being you should be finishing up your group project for your SMART Goals assignment. And just wanting to let you know that there is a guide here in the module to kind of give you an idea of what this part of the assignment entails. You will go here at the top, SMART Goals for School Improvement Plan name, and just put SMART Goals assignment. You need to have your data that you're analyzing, whatever your SMART goal that you selected. So we're looking at the actual standard we're looking at. And then in this example, it just states the percentage of fifth grade math students performing at level 4 proficiency will increase from 20% to 30% in math by the end of the school year. So you just need to list what your goal is. Then you're going to put your strategies here. You're going to tell who's responsible for implementing these strategies. You're going to decide what that timeline is, what resources are going to be utilized for this SMART goal, as well as what evidence will you have to show that students are performing or they're growing. So that's this particular sheet. Keep in mind that you have 2 standards, so then you will do this for 2 goals because those 2 standards that you identified are going to be the areas you're going to write up strategies for. Hopefully that's not confusing. This is just an example. You will need to download a clean version of this. So this right here will be what you'll need. And as you can see on the clean template, you have SMART goal number 1 and SMART goal number 2. So just be mindful of you need to download this particular template for your upload. Now let's look at the Dropbox for this assignment so that we're all clear about the expectation. So this is the second part for your group project or your data project. You have to upload part 1 of the template, right? Then you're going to upload in one document, make this one document. You will download the second template to add to your cover sheet, your first template. Page 3 should be this particular part of your assignment, so the second template. And you'll, with your group, determine strategies to implement change in terms of growth for your actual goals that you've created, 1 and 2. Then this next part of this assignment is, as a group, you will determine your root causes, and then you will type that up as a narrative. What areas identified as needing improvement? What are the root causes? Why are these areas of concern? And if you remember from our virtual class, I spoke to you guys about making sure that root causes aren't just simple things like absenteeism. When you say that, you have to explain that. These students are particularly late for a class. They've missed this instruction. And as I said in the virtual class, normally when we're looking at mathematics, we can say that there was a prerequisite skill that's inhibiting students from learning this particular standard. And as I said, ELA, sometimes we have that as well. If a student can't summarize, or if a student can't find the main idea and details, they're going to have a harder time summarizing. And if we haven't learned how to summarize, how are we going to be able to compare and contrast two different pieces of literature? So those are the root causes that I speak of when we start talking about vocabulary. What tier of vocabulary are students struggling with? So, root causes, you're trying to figure out what it is that has caused students to struggle so much with a particular standard. And really and truly, when you identify those root causes, it also helps you determine what strategies you need to implement in order to help students be successful. Now, going back to your narrative, once you write this paragraph about why the students are struggling on these particular standards, you're going to include that in your assignment. And let's go back. Let's talk about what you're uploading. First thing is the cover letter. The second page should be your first template, what you've turned in project 1. The third page should be your second template, which breaks down your strategies as well as all of the things you need to implement in that template. Then the fourth thing is the narrative that you're writing. And guys, let me say this again. It only needs to be a paragraph. It does not need to be multiple pages. And then the last thing you need to upload with this assignment is the data. I need to have your data along with this assignment. So those are the 5 things that I will look for within your Dropbox assignment. And each group member has to upload their assignment, right? And here is the rubric for you guys to follow in order to gain the points that you would like to gain from this assignment. Always look to the rubric to help you understand what you need to do. Now, that's, if you want to download the rubric and print it off, it is also there for this assignment. Let's see. That is our big assignment for this particular week. This is really all that you need to have prepared for this week's assignment. Guys that are working in the specialist and beyond, you should also be discussing with your group members the group project of best practices. I know it's not due until week 9, and I'll talk more about it as I go through your instructor video for week 9, but I also want to put it on your radar because it is a group assignment that within the group that you're in, for all the students that are in the specialist or the EDD program, you need to be working with your group to identify who's going to do the elementary, who's going to do the middle, who's going to do the high school, or you all may want to get together and just throw out ideas across all 3 grade bands. But just know that that assignment is going to come up due on July 27th. And it's also due at the exact same time as your 6 domains presentation project, which I will talk more about when I do your instructor video for next week. But I did want to mention the group project so that you guys can go ahead and start wrapping your head around the fact that you have to get that done before that time. You have the mock evaluation coming up. We've talked about that, where that you can watch the videos and the forms that you need to turn in for it. And I'll talk about that also in the next video. We have our last virtual class on Saturday, July 19th at 8 a.m. and it is one of our quicker of the 3. So be mindful of that. Put that on your schedule, set your alarm so that you're there for that last meeting. But until next week's instructor video, you guys have a great week or a great break. And I will be on to discuss upcoming events in your next video. Have a great rest of the day. Bye-bye.